Hey, it's Kisha here with Defending the Early Years podcast. We'll be focusing on amplifying the voices of early childhood educators, advocates, and all of those who love children.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Defending the Early Years podcast. I'm Kisha Reed, and this is a special episode. I'm here today at PEP Retreat Center with a few of my favorite people. We're at the Play Empowers Pep Rally Retreat 2025. Everybody, how was it? Tell me. Today's day 3, Saturday, and we are going to just debrief. We're going to break it down. And today, I can't remember who said it. If you said it, raise your hand, and I'm going to pass you the mic. But today, somebody talked about yesterday, and then they talked about today, and it was Katie. Katie, you talked about the difference between yesterday and today and how you felt about that. So we're going to start with Katie just breaking down how her body felt after today, and then we're going to go deeper into it, and here we go.
Okay, so yesterday felt like most of the big topics that we were talking about and really working with and like in all the conversations felt very much like we were in our brains, in our minds. It was very esoteric. It was very good, and it felt like everything that I, within my realm right now, needed to hear. But it was still very heady. And then today, it was like, okay, that was great, but I need to feel my body moving and doing an action right now. And I felt like there was all the sessions today kept bringing me back into being in my body with all of this information, whether it was how I was literally playing, and the things I was noticing was all about like physical, and then connecting it back into this idea of like, we really need both, and feeling like, okay, that made it so that today we ended in the pool, which was very like physical, moving my body in this like soothing kind of way. And last night at the end of all of the sessions, we went and hung out at the fire and drummed, which was also very physical, but in a like nurturing my body's need to seriously get a lot of physical activity out right now. And that was just a really neat flow within me.
And it was all started by Heather Bernsanti. It was such a perfect rollout from your session talking about schemas and how children play and the patterns within their play, rolling into Carly Bedard's session about how we can and should play and how that helps us see children and understand children and helps us be better educators. So I want to talk to Heather and tell us a little bit about this book. I think I heard something in your session about a book you've written.
Yes, there is in fact a book.
All right. Tell us about it.
Yes, so I wrote this book, Using Schema Play Theory to Advocate for Free Play in Early Childhood. Available for pre-order from Teachers College Press. Publication date in November. But it's been a journey of the last 5 or 6 years to dig into schema play. And I just kept finding connections to be made between understanding schema play and then thinking about how we could use that as a lens to talk to play skeptics about play, or even just play worriers about play worriers, not warriors. And so that's what the book is doing, is thinking about what are the values held by the skeptics and how can we tell a play schema story and then pick it apart and find the message that might fit that value.
Mm-hmm. And there were some parent stories where you used schemas to help parents better understand what their child was doing and why they were doing it. Yeah. Do you want to share one of those stories with us?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple. What I was saying is that as I've been doing this journey with myself, I've seen more aha moments, kind of light bulb connection kinds of things with families than with any other kind of stories I tell to them. And I think it's really reassuring for a lot of families to hear the weird things their kids do are actually really valuable and have a name, and you can call it a theory, and that's comforting. But I think the main story I told was my colleague Anne, who had a toddler, and Anne was working with me side by side when I was doing most of my schema learning, and she would text me pictures all the time and ask me what schema it was. But the best one was Jack, who was 2, had taken the plastic hot dog and just left it on the toilet seat. And she texted me and she's like, "Please tell me this is schema." What schema is this? But also we had this little guy, Freddie, and I didn't talk about him this morning, but Freddie was an encloser and an enveloper. Like, he was one of those kids who had a schema that he checked out all the time. And she sent me a picture of him. He had taken cardboard and put it on the bottom of his foot, like a big rectangle of cardboard, and then clear packing tape and wrapped it around his foot to make shoes. And I was like, yeah, he's enclosing.
So after listening to that session, were you guys able to like think back into your classrooms and experiences you have with children where you saw schematic play happening? Did it like bring you back to, oh, wait a minute, I see that all the time? And does anyone want to tell a story about something they've seen or experienced with schema play in their environment?
Because if you do, I'll hand you the microphone.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Bethany.
Thank you, Heather.
This is Bethany. This is Bethany.
I have a little girl who we call her the dragon because she needs very deeply a hoard of toys. And of course, I have empty baskets all around. And my husband is home for the summer, so he's working with me. And one day, he didn't understand the need to gather everything. And he came into our program is just in our house proper. We don't have a separate area. So he comes into the one room that is dedicated just for toys. And everything was off of the shelves, on the rug, fully around Gwen. It was like her little nest, her dragon's hoard. And he was like, what is going on? Like, why? And nobody said anything. Like, she's my only girl. All the boys are just off doing their own thing. And I'm like, this is what she needs. Like, she needs to physically take everything off of the shelves, get them in the baskets, and she'll leave and come back to her nest. And it needs to be how it was. And it's just fun.
And I think knowing the schemas helps us put.
Yeah, then he was fine with
yes,
it.
Yes. Especially people outside of early childhood. Oh, okay.
I still don't know what schema is, being a dragon. But
the collecting, the containing, the sorting.
Let me look at my notes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could be transporting.
If she was moving it from place to place. Does she ever line them up?
No.
Mm-hmm.
They're arranged.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a certain
Positioning and ordering.
Yeah.
Look at you
Yeah.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody comes over, she'll be running, she'll see them across the house and she will run. No, that's my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need my tools.
I love that.
I said with a touch of circularity.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like things being in circles.
Because she needs it around her.
She arranged
Yeah.
it around her.
She's enveloping herself
Yes,
in
She
her
is-
hoard.
It actually could be enveloping.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more
Like
enveloping.
a lot of child development, it's interrelated and overlapping.
What I actually, I mean, all joking aside, what's really cool is like the curiosity. Like when you can label something, when you can name it, Dan Siegel says name it to claim it around. But I mean, like when you can think about where does this fit, I think it just gives our curiosity a little bit more organization.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Well, and I'll just throw in here that to be super nerdy, Chris Athey, who is the one whose research kind of brought out this idea of these repeated schema in children's play, identified over 40. And we're talking most of the time about 8 or 10. So even now, as we're sitting here trying to think what schema that is, there are some from that 8 or 10 that it fits, but we also know, there's more I could go find out about if I really wanted to get super into
We
it.
need a label.
As we're talking, oh, go ahead, Kim.
This is Kim.
Kim.
I was just thinking my team was first introduced to schema play was probably about 6 or 7 years ago also, and it helped teachers not get so hooked by kids' behaviors. And the understanding that they were hiding under the blanket instead of putting it on their bed, or the hoarding of the toys, or the even throwing the toys, helped the teachers just be a lot more patient, understanding of what was behind that behavior. And it made a much more peaceful classroom. And we would take pictures of things and like, I think this is a scheme. We had a whole chat of just photos of schemas. It was a very fun year. That is all.
Just to add on to that, this is Sierra. I often thought of the schema theme as being like the adult justification we need to find value in what the children are doing, because they're doing it. It's valuable to them, right? But we need to understand the thing often, especially when we don't, and it's triggering. But I also find it an incredibly helpful tool for teachers, because when we want to redirect a child to something and we understand what schema they're doing, it's much easier to redirect and still meet that need. So if they're throwing a block across the room, it's like, okay, you need to throw something. Here's this ball that isn't going to break somebody's head when it, right? Or whatever the thing is. And so I think it's a really powerful tool in that way as well.
This is Heather. I did grab the microphone and then I forgot what I was going to say. But I think it's what Sierra just said about this thing having value, because for a while I was thinking, bless you. I was thinking, well, children just deserve play. It's just their right. We shouldn't have to justify it. We should stop defending it, because that makes it seem, it's like saying if you eat your broccoli, you can have a brownie, but then I just got to a point where I was like, no, there are absolutely people that need to be convinced. And if they need to be convinced, we need to be able to tell stories, and schemas are a great way to tell stories. And then we can, like I said, identify those. If they're really into social emotional learning, then we can pull that out of the schema story. And it just pulls us out of that. No, there really are people that need to hear this differently, or need to be convinced. And so we need to do that work for children.
All right, so this is Kirsten. I want to come back to Kim for a second, because Kim, you said something that we just kind of glided over, which was that once your teachers understood and could label things as schema, you said the room calmed down. So like the adult lens changed, the children
100%.
didn't change.
100%.
So I want to hear a little bit more about how this evolved, because I think this is like amazing. We blame behavior on kids all the time.
Yeah.
It's always that kid is this, that kid is that. And you just said changing the teacher's lens calmed down
because
the classroom.
they understood the children had a need, and they were acting on their need, and they weren't trying to stop a behavior. And I'm using little quote marks when I say that, because it wasn't a behavior, it was a schema. And so not interrupting them, not taking it away, not overcorrecting. The whole space was much more peaceful. And I see this also, and maybe it's like, there's creative behaviors too. And we all say we want creative kids, but we hate creative behaviors. We hate them. And I think it's the same with schemas. Once we understood those as, oh, that's what this is, it just made it more fun for everybody.
I think it does that thing that we were talking about yesterday. It makes us imagine. It makes us wonder. It makes us, draws us into the child and what's important to them. So, here you go.
So just start thinking of what you guys are going to say after, because this is really short. No,
I don't believe that.
About, okay, and cut and action. No. So I was thinking about one day I walked into a conversation and somebody was talking about a book of storytellers or someone being a storyteller. And I was like, oh, I have this one story that I tell the kids. And now I'm reflecting, I'm like, oh my gosh, they were not talking about actual stories like Hansel and Gretel. You guys were talking about stories about kids and schemas like this one here. These are the stories that we should be sharing with each other and telling, and not like, oh my gosh, he was at the playground and he was hitting such and such. That's a story. But look at these other stories that we could tell, because that was amazing seeing like, oh, look, she did that. That's interesting stories that we could, as part of our professionalism, practitioners, that we practice telling each other stories, these kind of stories. I thought that would be, that's something I just learned and made notes for myself today.
Thank you, Alexis. Tiffany here. That's like perfect segue to my thinking about this. I think schema play allows adults to play in a way in a room. It unlocks adults who are members of these classroom communities. Like, despite how much we say this is a space for the children, it's all about the children. Like, your body's in there, your feelings are in there, your thoughts are in there. And schema play gives us a little bit more structure to say, like, I can play and participate in this play that is for the children in a way that doesn't interfere.
And can be imitated by us, right? Like Mike Hubert tells a story of when he was in a gym with a group of toddlers, and they were filling buckets and carrying them around the gym, and he first started to ask like, oh, are you going to the store? And then he's like, no, I'm just going to fill my bucket and walk around with them. And he was like, it was the best morning.
And for me, we were talking about adults and play and schemas. And for me today, when Carly came out with her session and put the materials in the middle of the table, I found that I just kept connecting things. I was connecting blocks. I was connecting straws to sticks. I was connecting. And I looked around the room and I was like, when we're asked to go back to play and go back to that space, we are actively doing schemas. So I wonder where that shows up in our adult life. Like, if you think about your life, can you think of any patterns in your day-to-day and any schemas that you do daily? Can anybody think of something?
I can easily, and then someone else can think while I'm talking, but because I've been thinking about this, Heather again. I joke that I have a transporting schema because I have a bag addiction. I buy a lot of bags, but really I think I have a transforming kind of schema. Like I still do a lot of kind of internal pretending of doing things, or like romanticizing my life a little bit and transforming what is real, to these pretend things that I have in my mind. Or, I'm knitting or I'm crocheting, and that's transforming, cross-stitching, all those craft kinds of things, or taking, string and turning it into socks or something like that. So I think as I have this question come up more and more as I talk about it, it's definitely transforming for me.
I have a question for you. Is hoarding a schema?
I think
it is.
I think
okay. I'm a collecting schema. Which
Kisha's getting some side eye.
Okay. Bethany, were you going to say something?
No, I'm just holding the mic,
Okay.
Kisha.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Monica. Oh, no.
I'm Becky. I actually was thinking about this probably about a year ago. We had done a schema theory training with our staff, and I started to think about my teenager and her teenage friends and these giant sweatshirts and blankets that they wear. So I feel like, and that's what I said, are you enclosing, enveloping, and she's like, get away from me, Mom. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be something there, that kind of cozy feeling you get.
Okay, Heather, your next book, Following Schemas Through Our Life. Yeah, okay. From toddlerhood to adulthood. Anybody else want to talk about schemas?
I don't know about adult schemas, but I will say we talked a lot about preparing teachers. This is Denisha, by the way. We talked a lot about helping teachers understand play. And I remember when I was doing my graduate level class at Sarah Lawrence, Emergent Curriculum, when it is about play, and they had to write a play story. And I was like, just observe the kids that play and write a play story. They're like, about what? And I'm like, about the play. And they're like, what about it? And I was like, here's some schemas. Oh my God, they were so excited because they could look at the play differently. Like they couldn't just tell the story without putting it to something. And so I think it's helpful for educators to have this language because you go from just, what do I do when the children are playing? Observe them play and document the schemas and what does that mean for who they are, what they're experiencing, what they need, and what you can do tomorrow to further what they're doing, what they're experiencing, and what they need. So it's a good starting point. Some people need it. I can just watch kids play and like, did you see her fill that bucket? It took 10 minutes, right? And not, oh, it's transporting. Oh, it was this. But some people need that. So give them the tools.
It's a way to have the better understanding of the children. You know, you're growing this relationship. I know Ulrika. Ulrika doesn't want to tell a story, but I'll tell it for her. For years, she had a little boy who would be the trash man every day, and he would gather the materials and make piles and piles on the playground, in the classroom, everywhere he went. And he needed to gather and transport. And gather and transport. And then the next day, he needed to do that. I often think about him, and I wonder if he's still doing that. I knew that would get her. I knew it.
This is Ulrika. A few adding on to what Kisha just said about the boy's name is Jake, and he has finished kindergarten, and he's back at our center this summer for a school-age summer camp, and he is still doing it. He actually in Miss Melissa's class right now, but I've been seeing some pictures, and he has little containers, ripping up paper, putting it all there, or organized, you know, one bin for every single thing. And actually, his sister's in my class right now, and he comes to pick her up in the afternoon. He comes with his parents to pick her up. First thing he comes, grabs the broom, starts sweeping our classroom. It's all about cleaning up, organizing, sorting. He loves the trash. People come in the street, cycling people come. He is very, I guess, cleaning, you know, minded and sorting. So yeah, he's still doing it. It's been a whole year since he left our center and went through kindergarten, and he came right back and he's still doing it.
I think this is really a way to honor children and like honor who they are and what their needs are.
And one more quick little thing. When he's doing this, you can see his passion. He's on a mission. He is sweeping. He's moving the bins. He's putting things in there. I mean, he's really in the zone. It's just, you know, he's really on a mission. He's, yeah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I think the thing that I'm coming back to right now, thinking about like helping other teachers understand the bigger picture about the play, I think what's so powerful about the schema idea is that it requires a noticing. Like it's the practice of like just pay attention and get curious about it. Like, and the schema is just like a format for it. It's like your framework. If you are a person who hasn't had that permission to do something like that, that feels so passive compared to the other things you're taught as an educator to do. And I think that can be a really like freeing experience. It like fades it out. Like what Denisha was saying, it's like, this is a stepping tool to make the bigger idea sink in.
So I want to ease into the afternoon session with Carly Bedard. And I'm going to pass the mic to Carly so she can tell us a little bit about what she presented.
Hi, this is Carly here. This afternoon, I had the incredible privilege of presenting a self-active play workshop to these fabulous Play Empowers attendees. It's a workshop that was designed by Marcia Nell and Dr. Walter Drew, who've been doing this work for about 40 years. And I share that if I ever write a book in the future, it might be titled The Rose Gold Caps That Changed My Life, because I had the opportunity to engage in a play experience designed for adults about 9 years ago, and it absolutely transformed the way I view professional development, not just about the topic for play, but all professional development, and remembering that we have to connect and experience that which we're promoting. And as much as, I love talking about play and the incredible research for play, I found myself 9 years ago in that moment with those rose gold caps, realizing I don't spend enough time connecting with that spirit of play and that inner imagination and creativity. So I love getting to facilitate experiences by just providing time and space and materials and letting the power of play take over and seeing the magic that happens.
Carly, this is Bethany. And
yes, Bethany.
I have a question that when you said it during the session, it popped in my mind and then I didn't get a chance to ask it. What are those caps from?
I have no clue, because they are from a creative reuse depot in Florida. I think that's part of the like wonder of the materials too. Is not knowing where they came from and what they were originally.
They are
designed
beautiful
for.
caps, folks.
Yes,
Carly, you'll have to post a picture.
We can attach a picture, exactly. What a picture on the website, but but yeah, understanding the affordance of materials and that what they were originally designed for, which we don't know. I'm presuming maybe like perfume bottles or shampoo bottles, but the way that we can really gain an intimate understanding of the affordance and just how many ways materials can be used. So.
And we use the materials well. I said to Heather, I was like, I've been in sessions like this before where the adults are meant to play. And I was like, is it because Carly just inspired us so greatly, or because we're just really creative people? And we just came up with really great play ideas.
Two things can be true. That's just an eternal question, Bethany. And we really don't know where it's going to end up. But what really struck me today was how much time it took me to understand and like kind of become in relationship with the materials. Like, and it was really when we were like almost done that like I discovered that the twisty ties could go into the straws and then like make really cool geometric shapes. And I really wanted to pursue that. And I think I think more than anything today in your session, what it gave me was empathy for our kids, because we are constantly cutting them off, just cutting them off. Chris Kira and Ellen Veselak did some research a few years ago, and they looked at the qualities of time, space, materials, and then they added a fourth thing, which is relationships into the work and how the qualities of each of those things impacts children. But I think I have my entire career undervalued time, and I appreciate how we got to play with that today. So thank you for that.
I'm going to echo what Bethany said. This is Tiffany. I've been to many materials workshops where there's just stuff to look at. I've been to many play workshops where there's stuff to play with. Yours was so good. I'm going to cry right now. It was so good. Like, I feel like we all just had this amazing experience together, and like, you rock.
That was beautiful. I wanted to have you guys think about how you're going to take back what you learned today through playing yourself. Like, what is that going to look like when you go back? How has that experience, that change that you just talked about, Tiffany, how is that experience going to look when you go back to your classroom or workplace or office if you're a director who works with other educators? What does that look like?
I'm going to talk. It's Bethany again.
Hey, Bethany.
I truly, Carly, your session changed my life today. Like, if anybody, I haven't cried this weekend yet. Yeah, I'm a roller coaster for those who know me, and my life is highs and lows, and it's been a hard year. And I'm just at about almost 2 years of having my program reopened, and some of you in the room know that I've just been surviving and just getting through the days. And during your session, I was reminded that I need to sit and wonder with the children. And just that, like, it made me curious again. You know, I was playing and I had a problem because I had two caps inside of each other. And and my brain went, how am I going to fix this? And then I was like, I wonder what a kid would do to fix this. And so it really felt like a light bulb going off in my mind of like, oh, I do have this still. Like, I still have this curiosity and wonder in me. It just was a little bit hidden for a while.
I can't tell you how many times, thank you, first of all, for your kind words and just embracing that spirit of play that we all, I think, collectively invited into the space, which made it a meaningful experience. But I can't tell you how many people say in the workshop that I thought I had lost my creativity or my imagination or my curiosity. And we just, we live in a very busy world full of checklists and compliance. And so I think having that time to reconnect with, again, the incredible power of play. And I shared this afternoon and am reminded, Carol yesterday had this beautiful phrase where she said she thought she was saving care and she was on this mission to save care with this beautiful book that she wrote, which everybody needs to read. But really, care saved her. And I feel the exact same way about play. And I think maybe today's experience resonated with a lot of us because of that. We feel like we're going to be out there to save play and we're going to bring it back in powerful ways. And that's true. But for me, play saved me. And I love hearing stories of how it's saving others too. So.
It's Ulrika again. I was talking to Melissa from my center and after Carly's session, and we felt like it was such a powerful message with having us adults and be able to play on our own or with a group together and collaborate. And we felt like this could be an awesome way for us to show our parents what the kids are experiencing through play. So I think we just this afternoon talked about our parent night coming up this fall. We're definitely doing something reflected from your workshop to pull our parents in to show them through play how the meaningful of play for the kids and all the learning that occurs. So yes, it was really inspiring.
The cool thing, just real quick. The cool thing about Heather's session and Carly's session being on the same day is that when you have your parents do all that playing and everything, then you can talk to them about schemas and how they go hand in hand, and having that experience will put together, I'm about to wrap this up, watch this, it's going to put together the mind and the body that Katie was talking about earlier.
Wow, how am I going to follow that, Kisha? It's Denisha again, but I want to say again the importance of Carly's session for the self. So I experienced Carly's session last year at the IPA USA conference in Greenville. So if you guys noticed at my table, I started playing right away because I knew what I was in for, right? But remember how I felt the first day about the journals? Like, I don't feel like a very creative person. And I hate being in a space where I feel like everyone's super creative and I'm not. And when I'm in that space with those materials, I feel so creative. Like, did you see how many times when that thing stood up and I went, because it worked, right? And so I got to feel that creativity that I don't feel in the art making, right? Because you keep telling me my journal looks great, and I'm like, right? But so we need to feel good at things, and play gives you that in the different spaces. And whenever I'm in that session with those materials, I feel like a kid does. Like, I am a foot taller than I am. You can't mess with me. I'm going to make this stand up. I'm going to keep stacking this stuff up. And I feel like I'm a Picasso in my own right.
All right, everybody. On the count of three, we're going to say thank you. Oh, hold on. Hold up.
She can have my mic. I was going to say something.
Who needs it?
This whole experience was curated by you, Aunt Kisha. And before you hang up on us, I think it was a really beautiful experience of somebody showing great care, making sure that our bodies were taken care of, making sure our minds were taken care of, giving us experiences that we're gonna remember. All of these workshops, you curated that, and these being on the same day, I'm sure you thought of that. But we got to be participants, like how your kids at your place probably feel when they walk in. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. That's the end of the episode. I need to go cry now. Bye. Thanks for listening.
And that was another episode of the Defending the Early Years podcast. Defending the Early Years works to support the rights and needs of young children nationally. Learn more at DEY.org. Pay us a visit, sign up for our newsletter, or connect with us on social media. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.